Yes.
Hi.
Hello there.
Oh man, so Vegas is on lock.
It's a ghost town.
Yeah. Is that
It's a
so
ghost
weird?
town. It's so surreal. Surreal. It's like you can't even imagine, you know, being in a city like here or New
Yeah.
York and there are just no people. I mean, like the strip is completely shut down.
That is so
Um,
weird.
and it's just kind of eerie, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the cool thing is, the governor here shut down quite quickly.
Good.
And everyone is social distancing.
Good.
So I think that, people are being responsible and that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm so glad to hear that because
Yeah.
that's what we need to be doing, right? You travel so much. Do you have an absolute home base at the moment?
Yeah, this is home.
Oh, this
Vegas
is
is
home.
home. Yeah, Vegas is home. I moved here a year ago from LA. LA was home, as you know,
Oh, right.
for like
Okay.
10 years. And then when I got the show, I just said I'll just make Vegas my home because
Oh,
Vegas is, with what I do and the kind of music that I sing, it kind of lends to having a presence here.
yeah.
Um, and then Vegas is really easy to get in and out of.
Yeah.
Way less traumatic than LAX
Oh, yeah.
or the New York airports. I mean, Vegas is
Yeah.
just built for international travel. So, and I'm not too far from the airport, so it's such
That's
a good place to be when you're in and out.
good. So you were here for 10 years though in LA?
Yeah, yeah.
Aw.
I feel like I missed you. I
It's
feel
so
like so
silly to me
sad
that
that like I
I
didn't
definitely should
see
have
you in
gotten
LA.
together with you. I feel embarrassed that I didn't, but I know that's sometimes life. But go figure. So now this is our big, meeting when you're in Vegas and I'm here and we're both in like total lockdown. So to anyone who's watching us,
We
we did
go.
high school theater together. And so, oh my gosh. And from that day on, I'm like, this is such an incredible, talented man. So tell me a little bit the trajectory of your life into exactly, your singing career today.
Well, I left Cleveland and I moved to LA for 2 years, and then after that, went back to Cleveland and worked at the Caramel House. That was pretty amazing, and but that was great because that just sort of got me prepared for New York.
Nice.
You know what I mean? So that was 2 years just doing straight theater. There's another on the west side of town where I did Fences.
Oh,
Um, but reputable, small
yeah.
theater.
Wonderful.
And then I moved to New York.
Nice.
And then I was in New York for about 8 years doing
Yeah.
theater, musical theater. Got got my equity card and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Got a lot of musicals. But when I moved to LA after that, because I had a TV show with a couple guys, we shot a pilot, and we did this TV show, and the pilot didn't get picked up, but that was the impetus to move to LA. And
Nice.
so LA, I was doing a lot of interested in theater, but film and television became something that I got really interested in, and got to do that, a lot of independent stuff.
Nice.
And some TV. So that was really fun. And
Nice.
alongside, I'm still doing musical theater,
Nice.
and I started recording, not recording, but performing jazz music. And so that was great because it was a cool outlet. As jazz music, American songbook music is very connected to Great American Musical
For sure.
Songbook. So that was like a great extension. And so I was in a group in LA. And then I did Breath of Imagination, which
Oh,
is the story of Roland Hayes. And that was amazing because I did it in LA, Boston, Paramount, and Cleveland Playhouse, which was a great.
Going home again for something so special.
It was one of the most magical experiences of my life to bring that particular show back to the Cleveland Playhouse and the tour de
Oh,
force like that was just, and all the people that came out to see that show from
oh,
Cleveland was just, you just can't, it's just, it's one of the reasons why we do it, is for those
right.
kinds of experiences,
Just
Yeah.
the bringing together of all the things that you love, right?
Yeah. And all the people who have known me my whole life, right?
Oh,
I mean, the whole Cleveland community, and this show is just a very powerful, show about Roland Hayes, who was the first classical piano vocalist before Paul Robeson to reach international acclaim. So Roland, and so in the show, I play Roland from like a boy all the way up through an old man.
oh, that's so neat.
So yeah, so for people to see, like, it was like my life in a sense of when it all began. So there were people in the audience who have seen me, known me since I was in junior high,
Yeah.
elementary school,
Oh,
seeing me play Roland as a little boy, and
and then grow him up.
yeah, it was so special.
Oh,
So after I did that, I came back to LA, and I was in a show called Words by Ira Gershwin, where I played the crooner.
right.
And
And that's when we came to see you. Oh, no, no, no. I saw you in something else. No, no, no.
yeah, what
That
did you
wasn't the
see
same
me
thing.
in?
What did I
Did you
see?
see me in when I played Cab Calloway and I Only Have Eyes for You?
That's what we saw
You
you
saw
in.
me in that? Okay,
Yes, yes,
that
yes.
was fun.
Oh my gosh, you've done so many cool things.
Yeah, so that was a fun show. I got an Ovation nomination for that. That was fun. But you know, when I did Words by Ira Gershwin, that was the first time where a whole show was dedicated to the songbook of George and Ira Gershwin. And out of that, the musical director, Kevin Toney, was like, yo, because I was performing with like these major jazz acts, like like major jazz musicians like Kevin Toney, John B. Williams, Jacques Lejour, Rayford Griffin on drums. I mean, like masters, right? So like for 2 months, I'm performing with these guys. I was already singing this music. And then Kevin Toney said to me, he was like, yo, man, you should really consider recording an album in this genre and I'll produce it, because there's really no one sort of in this lane that's, young African American male that would be sort of a Bublé contemporary or Harry Connick contemporary. And
I love
and
it.
I thought, all right. So I did that. And then I toured that record for a year. And that leads up to last year. I joined Vegas to show. And before that, I was touring the record, and then settled in Vegas for Vegas to show while I finished my next record, which is all finished and in the can, and that's called Matters of the Heart.
Oh,
And so that's where I'll leave it there, just because Matters of the Heart is, I did a 9-song EP in English and a 4-song Spanish EP.
oh,
2 music videos, about 4 EPKs. It's all done. It's all in a can, and I can't put it out
oh.
because of this Corona, which is I'm so happy that I didn't put it out before this Corona situation broke down. Because my management in New York, we were starting to think about, we were, we're shopping to like labels, like, Universal and Sony and blah 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 blah, and these
Wow.
people, want to, hear the record.
Yeah.
So we were like, putting that together for them. And we just, all this stuff started going down. And we were like, thank goodness that you weren't out. Not only thank goodness that we weren't about to put a record out, but thank goodness we weren't rearing up a tour.
Right.
Because there's so many of my friends who, because before you put out a record, it's like 2-3 months of promotion that you're investing, that's happening. That's money spent in marketing promotion before it comes out.
Wow.
So there's a lot of artists who have had to take a L regarding that, and then of course all the artists that won't be able to tour this summer. So I don't obviously my heart goes out to those artists who are in that situation. But at the same time, I'm somewhat grateful that the timing
The
for
timing
me,
was
I
better
can
for you.
just wait. Like I just wait.
But now I think coming out of this crisis where people have kind of had to kind of come together and reassess some of this art that is waiting and to be released to the world is going to be, I think, even more powerfully received kind of coming out of this into this new normal. So I think its timing is right? This people will need your matters of the heart then more than ever.
They will. I pray so. And I was saying this to a friend that our grandparents, they are familiar with what their ancestors had to go through regarding the Great Depression.
Right.
And it's just kind of, I mean, I don't know why, obviously, but I do think it's very interesting that the kind of music that I record is music that helped people during that time come out of the Great Depression. And my hope and my prayer is that because I'm still considered a new face. It takes about 2-3 records to establish yourself in the recording business as an artist.
Okay.
And so my first record did pretty well. This record is the record that kind of puts me there.
Nice.
And I'm so grateful that I get to remind people of what goodness can come from this kind of music in particular, because all music is going to be beneficial.
Sure.
But this music that is so dear to our hearts, music that comes from the American Songbook, music that like I have a song, I have a version of All I Need Is the Girl from Gypsy on the record.
Oh.
Right? So I'm just hoping that the hope that's instilled in my versions, my interpretations of this music reminds people of a time that was really dire and we all got through it.
Yes, I love that. Oh, I love that a lot. Because it's sort of this odd sort of, we are almost feeling like everything had to simplify, but we're almost living in the past and the future. Like we're sitting here talking over the computer. So we're like both technologically advanced, but also everything has sort of gotten sweet and simpler in some ways. It's just like you're with your little tribe, you're kind of hunkered down. And like you said, so the memory that people have done this kind of dire, hard time before and gotten to the other side.
Yeah,
that's good stuff to be reminded of. Yeah,
it's embedded in our collective DNA. So the interesting thing about it is when people hear certain songs that they've never really heard before, like they've heard them, but they've never heard them before.
Nice.
I think some of these songs are gonna really just tap into the heart and really like they're gonna be so familiar without knowing why, without consciously knowing why. And then when you have a fresh face delivering it, I think that could be. I think it's going to be a beautiful thing. So I'm patiently anticipating the release.
I love that.
And I think that's. I hope all artists, and yourself included, to have projects right now. And I had this conversation yesterday with some friends. I was like, in my opinion, this is a very, very good time to have a catalog of intellectual property for sale.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because if you look, I mean, Netflix is killing it right now.
Yes.
The crazy thing is that when you go on the Netflix, I mean, how many times have you gone on the Netflix and you're like, there's nothing to watch. There's tons of stuff to watch, but the thing about it is that we want more content.
It's true.
We want more. We want that next show, that next
Right.
movie that is interesting. So even with all
Yes.
the content that they have, they don't have enough.
It's true. So there's a place for everybody's art. I mean, and there are many places. And like you said, to just have things ready. I read somebody posted something on Facebook that said something like, for anyone who might have thought art is is one of the not essentials, in schools and things. Oh my gosh, look at what's going to get us through these weeks, these months. It's going to be music, movies, shows. It's art. That's the most essential thing in my opinion.
It's true. And I
mean,
it would be nice
and
for
art.
people and art, yeah. And it would be nice for our culture to evaluate artists in the way that they should be. And I would say value
them.
They will
Yes.
be valued because people, in my opinion, in general, take artists for granted, and they don't really appreciate what value artists bring to society. I hope that people really come to appreciate, because it's easy, it's very interesting when people are high rolling, life is good, money flowing, right? They have excess. It's very easy to sort of, unless they're that big star that you follow on Insta that is, living la vida loca, their value is somewhat diminished. And no, as long as the art is quality, there's such value to that.
Right. And like you said, because that's why I wanted to do this idea in the first place, because there's nothing I love more. I realize now, I mean, I love acting, I love singing myself, but there's something in me that I've gotten a chance to do some of these, like some casting for some live showcases that are not happening live anymore, but my husband and our literary manager are actually creating ways to be like, okay, maybe some of these things that we were doing live, we can somehow do virtually again. Anyway, but I've loved casting and finding people. So I love talking to you about this, and I love hearing your perspective on it. Like you said, when people are high rolling and things are good and you're on the up and up, it's easier to put everything that isn't sort of matching your level of success sort of in the background. But when all that noise quiets a little bit, what do you turn to? Just like truly what resonates with you, right? Like it doesn't have to be what's famous. It just has to be what's good, what means
good. That's right. And just know that when life gets good for you again, there are artists who are pouring their soul and their heart into their craft, and there could be another situation that comes, and that hopefully we don't need this to peace be still. Hopefully there are times people will take moments in their lives just to chill out and discover. And it's so interesting. Like, this is a thing for me that I do, and a lot of people probably don't have the time or the luxury to do it. But every week I check out new artists on Spotify.
I love that.
Right, and there's so many new artists that come out. Now I never know what I'm going to find. I never know what I'm going to like or dislike.
Yeah.
But there's so much that I get to discover just because I happen to have the time and the interest, and I need to know. I mean, it's a part of my business to know who's doing what.
Right.
And discover artists and different sounds and how, artists are recording and things like that. It's so amazing to see every week these artists who I've never heard of.
Yeah.
And, it used to, as you know, back in the day, everyone who was pretty much recording music, because they had to go through a major label,
right,
we knew who they were.
Right.
And so now we live in this. It's kind of like the best of both worlds, because now there's so many artists that it's hard to sift through them all
Right.
to get. But at least they're there, and there are places like Spotify that has, that have vetted, artists who deserve to be on the platform,
Right.
and you can discover a new artist, and I think that's cool.
Yeah, so you can find all these unknowns, though. You can find all these gems, all these little
Yeah,
diamonds in the rough
yeah,
now,
yeah,
because more and more people are able to record, which means, again, yes, people can get lost in the shuffle, but also people can get discovered. So that's
yeah.
a
I
good.
mean, because the cream always, Antwone Fisher, the real Antwone Fisher, who wrote the Antwone Fisher movie, is a friend of mine. He said something to me really, a couple of years ago. He said, talent, talent. If you have talent, you will be okay. And that is so, because he goes, the cream always rises to the top.
I love that.
And it does. I mean, in my opinion, I think that, and that's what I hope times like this help to reiterate to young people, right? Is the fact that artists that have careers, not one hit wonders, not people who come and go, but people who cultivate a craft,
Yeah,
who are going to be here for the long term.
yeah.
It took time to cultivate that craft.
Yeah,
And, these things just don't happen overnight.
right.
And then for the artists who have been cultivating their craft, for them to know that if they have the talent and they continue to cultivate their craft, there will be a place for them at the table.
I love that.
Because it's like good content, good art, a good script, a good song, a good piece of intellectual property will have a place at that table if
Yeah,
you just keep at it. It's
right.
just kind of like how it is. It's like
Right.
gravity. It just works.
I love
You
that.
might have some, ups and downs and
Sure.
curves and all that. But that's life. But people
Probably the
recognize
only way it
talent.
won't happen is if you quit.
Quit.
If you
Yeah,
say it's not over because it's just never over, I'm
that's
just
right.
gonna keep
Yeah,
going.
yeah,
I mean, there's no option of
yeah.
failure because you're just gonna keep moving.
You just keep moving, and people will catch up to you.
And everyone's got their audience. Everyone, I mean, hopefully,
That's right.
but people with talent have hopefully a pretty broad audience. But there's somebody looking for something everybody's doing in some way.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. And nowadays you get a way there's a way for you to put it out. There's a way for you to own it.
Hmm.
There's a way for you to own and control your content,
Hmm.
and to be entrepreneurial about it.
Right.
And that's, we live in a really amazing time. I
We
think.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even this odd time is a very special, important time.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is. And there's a lot of people we probably haven't caught up with in a long time.
Yes.
Us included. And
Yeah.
so I think that that's an amazing thing that's been happening here with me in particular, is a lot of friends that just, when you uh, grow your friendships, young and old, you
Right.
get to a certain, you know, place in your life, and there's a lot of people in your Rolodex,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's so
Yes.
tough when you have life and family to keep uh, abreast of what's going on in
Right.
everyone's lives.
Yeah.
And I think this is amazing to like reconnect you with old friends. And
Yes. I was just saying to somebody yesterday I was talking to, it's just that idea of like savoring things in life. Just like sit and celebrate, enjoy and savor what we all just experienced
yeah,
together.
yeah,
And so there's a joy to the slowing down and savoring of each experience a little bit, where you don't have to race off to the next one so fast, that I'm really trying to appreciate.
yeah. It's a metaphor for life because we
It
move
is.
so move fast. It's just so
You move fast.
yeah, we move fast. We've been moving like at warp speed.
We
Before
have.
this happened, like the globe, like everybody. And you don't even realize it, like you know it, but it just becomes so normalized.
Right.
And
And
then
if
this
everyone's
happens, you
moving at
go,
that speed, you can't see how fast it is.
yeah,
It's like when you're on the highway, you don't
yeah,
look at another car and say, that car's going fast, because you're
yeah,
going
yeah.
fast.
Everybody's caught up in the matrix. You know, everybody's caught up in the
Amen.
matrix,
Yes.
right? And then all of a sudden the grid goes, "Er," and
And you're
you
like,
know, now it's like people are really mentally freaked out
yeah,
and emotionally freaked out. I mean, not just
I get that.
circumstantially, like, you know, no one wants to get COVID-19. No one, wants to be laid off or lose their job,
Right.
but the stillness.
It's scary to be still with your own self.
And that's why I posted on my Facebook, you know, I've been practicing meditation for a long time,
Yeah.
and I've just ramped it up even more now,
Yeah. I bet.
and
Yeah.
you know, just practicing presence, and it's a powerful thing for people to, you know, it's not about religious, it's not, no, it's really just about being present with yourself.
Yeah.
The transformations, in my opinion, that happen by giving yourself that time, that alone time, that
Yeah.
self-discovery that happens, the silence that happens within, that
Yeah.
happens over time, the effects are pretty profound.